Hi, everyone. I wanted to do a quick risk management video after the questions that Wolf mentioned he was getting. I want to show how Kucoin specifically helps you make a decision of how much of a position you're going to put forward on any given trade based on what the entries and the stop loss is. So what we're actually going to do is we're going to walk through this long ICP order that Wolf set up back on January 2nd. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into KuCoin and we're going to imagine that we have a $1,000 portfolio. So if our risk that we're willing to take on is 1% of our overall of our overall portfolio, then we can only risk, well, what's 1% of 1,000? Let's just quickly do this. If you're having trouble figuring this out, you can go 1% of 1,000 is $10. That's the max that you're willing to lose in a given trade, $10. So let's go into KuCoin. We're going to go to ICP. So we bring up ICP and we're going to set the price in here. So our first entry is 25.8, 25.8. Right now I've got the leverage set at 5%. We're going to click the take profit of stop loss, or sorry, take profit stop loss of long, because we're doing a long in this particular case. And we're going to enter the stop loss in here. So we're going to go back, and Wolf has the stop loss at 23.37, so 23.37. So no, I can't even put 7 actually. It only goes to one decimal place. So you'll notice right here, it says the loss rate is 55%. So for me to be able to lose only 1% of my trade, which is $10, when the loss rate is 55, I have to figure out because we're going to put two entries in here. So the first entry is going to be half of 1%. So the first entry I can only lose $5, and the second entry I can only lose $5. So what I need to do is go, okay, well, what is 55%? How do I put this position so that 55% max that I'm losing is $5? So we have two levers to be able to do this. One, we have a leverage that we can change, and we have the total amount that we can change. So let's try putting in, I'm going to buy 2 ICP. So 2 ICP is $10. So 55% of $10 is about $5. So technically, the only amount that I can put into this trade so that I only lose 1% of my overall portfolio is $10.38 for my first entry. May not seem like a lot, but that's how this game works. So the other way you can do this is you could crank down your leverage. Let's crank that down to 2. Let's put in the stop loss again, which was 23.37. Now it's 20%. So 20% of 25.87, go back into here, 25% of 25.87 is $6.40. So it's actually too much. It's $6 that we're going to lose in this trade. Are we okay losing that? In this particular case, I'm going to say yes. So these are the two levers you have. Now, essentially, because you're managing your position based on the percentage you're willing to lose, it doesn't matter if you do 2x or 5x. Essentially, in the end, you should end up making the same amount of profit. But again, these are the two levers that you have at your disposal to make the trade. So let's go through one more example. If I go back to Discord, let's look at this long order on Bitcoin. Now I know that we're beyond these prices, but what we're going to do is we're going to set this one up anyways. So we're going to take the first entry of 45,955. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to go to Bitcoin. We're going to put in our entry price of 45,955, I believe it was 45,955. Yep. We're going to click the take profit stop loss on long. We're going to go to our stop loss. Stop loss in this particular one is 44.7, so 44,700. So this one, with a 20x leverage that I have selected, 61% of my 61% is the potential loss. So again, I need to figure out what my position size is going to be based on that. Because based on that, I can only lose $5 per entry because I'm going to put in two different entries. So my total overall loss on this particular trade would be $10 maximum. But because we're doing two different entries, you're going to space out your entries so that you lose approximately 0.5% per entry if they were to hit their stop. Now, what you can do is go slightly lower on one and slightly higher on the other, which is what I tend to do. Because you're buying more at a lower price, you generally have a little bit more wiggle room. So let's go through this entire trade. So I'm going to crank the leverage way down on this. Let's crank it down to, let's go down to 5. And we're going to go 44,700 again. So 14%. So we're going to go 0.015. How much is that? $138. So what's 14% of $138? That's a tough number to calculate. Let's go 1. So that's $92. 2, 111. So 14% of 111 is probably going to be around $20-ish, something like that. Again, if you're having trouble with the maths, go into here, put in your calculator, 14% of 114, $15, which in this particular case is too much. So what about 0.7? 0.7 now costs us $64. So we're going to go 14% of 64. 64. $8, $9, which again is still too much. So we're going to go down. $37. Now we're starting to get somewhere. Now we're at that $5 mark. So now we know that this position, for us to enter this particular trade, this is the maximum amount that we can bet on this trade is $37 at 5x. So we would go buy long, it would place the order. Let's look at the second entry. The second entry is 45,555. 45,555. Stop loss was 44,700. 10% now. So now, because the entry is closer to the stop loss, the amount that you're going to lose in this particular play is going to decrease. So now you can increase your position size a little bit to get closer to that number again. So let's try 0.5. That puts us up to $45, which I think we've already learned is too high. So in this particular case, you would probably put both entries at the same amount, 0.4. And you'd click your buy long, and off you go to the races. I hope this helps. This is how I do it when I'm using my 1% of my total overall trading portfolio. I have some of it in spot. I have some of it in futures. I move some of it around. I always have a little bit sitting on the side to buy a couple of dips that look tasty. But I always use this back and forth to figure out exactly how big of a position I can make. If you do this, you can lose 10 trades before you've lost 10% of your overall portfolio. And that's the name of the game in this thing, is preservation of your capital. Thanks, everybody. I hope this is helpful. Bye-bye.